Great. So, the work of the week as the artist, and for any artist, I'll just talk about myself as an artist and what I do in the schools, because I'm sure that if there was a dance teacher, they'd want different things, and when they work towards a production, they'd have their own set of things that they need. What we do is, prior to the week starting, work out where the performance is going to be. For instance, sometimes it's in a theatre. On the last school I was at, it was in their school gym. They'd never had a performance there, so we were trialling a new space, and we needed to work on logistics. Because for any artist to come into a school, there needs to be some sort of resolve, and in my case it's a performance. So, which is great, because it's a performance for the whole school community, and all of the kids get to be doing stuff for their mums and dads. The logistics of it is that we might talk before I get there and saying, do I need to bring my sound system? Do I need to bring my lights? Do you have those things at the school? What are we going to do? Are we going to film the project so that you can make a record of it, either to sell to the kids or give to the kids, or even just to archive for what the school has done, its own history, its own culture? How do we build this sort of thing up? So, and that's entirely up to the school. I just encourage that one art form serves another, though, and that's why I like film and photography to be a part of the project I do, is because it's something I don't do, but it's something that's an art form that feeds into this whole process. Within the project itself, we have, I cover as many things in the art world as I possibly can. For instance, I'll get certain acts, certain grades of doing acts that require the making of things. One is a set of monsters, and they need headstones. And of course, the good thing about that is with the headstones, kids can, and the teachers in conjunction with each other, can write funny epitaphs, and some of them, the last lot wrote something about the principal, how he died laughing his head off, or stuff like that. So they can put their own personal stuff in there, headstones. It's great. Another grade I do a pig rap with, where the little kids are pig rappers, and we make our little houses of straw, sticks and bricks, which are just simply bits of cardboard that the kids just drop as the houses get blown over. And so that's the making part of it. And there's also other things, streamers for one group that are clowns running around with streamers, letters to spell out words across the stage, chef's hats for chefs, ninjas, and any other kind of costume, clowns, noses, bit of makeup, puppy dogs, ponies, lions, that sort of thing, where we try to cover a whole spectrum of the circus world, and occasionally that involves some form of art, whether it's in little bits of costume that tie things together. Some schools have gone crazy on the costume, have set up a library with the sewing troupe there and all of the materials. Others, no, it's mainly found objects, and quite most often in schools it's found objects and just a little bit of a tweak on found objects. Last school, for instance, all of the dogs were Dalmatians, just with black spots on white t-shirts. Made it very simple. So, and that's fun, because many teachers don't know how to make these things or what to do, so it's very easy to just feed in a suggestion and say, look, for a chef's hat, why don't we just use white cardboard and a white plastic bag and a stapler? Done. Job's right. There you go, chef's hat. So that's the sort of thing that I like to do. So the art room is totally taken over during the week, with teachers running in and out and stealing all of the art teachers' prize bits of cardboard that they've been saving for years, and their paints and things like that, staplers, tape. With that sort of stuff, you can just about do anything. And that also helps, because I can't bring a truckload full of all of these props. It's better that the school invests in doing something to help their project go along. Oh, and the main thing about a project going on in a week is that the school stops its regular programming. They don't do as much literature or the literacy rather, and the numbers things, or all of those other kind of staples of their day where their day is broken up into those kind of learning segments, which is happening all through the year. Learning segments, all of those allotments of time, gets thrown out the window largely, and what they do is turn themselves over to doing a production, which for me echoes real life, in that if there's something happening in your life that requires you to drop what you're doing and just deal with this thing, then that's what this art project is about too, and that's what an Artist in Residence project does. It says, look, we're not going to just work on our performance every Friday afternoon for 2 terms and put on a production. That drives teachers mad, by the way. There's not a teacher I've ever met that thinks that that's a great idea. None of them. And over 10 or 15 years ago, I stopped going into schools on a weekly basis to do the project because there was no continuity, no follow-up, and things became disorganised and was in disarray very quickly. I now only go into schools as an artist and spend the length of time I need to be able to produce the show done. That's it. So I don't go in and then go out and go in again, go out, go in again. I'm there and we just drop everything and do what we need to do to get the project done. There's more. And that was the thought I was trying to hold back. I'll get there. I'll get back to that thought. The thought was, help me, Beth. What was, it was about project. The performance. Oh, that's right. Now we're getting on to and get them to understand what I'm trying to do with the kids and what they need to do to be able to help facilitate that. And so what I do is I end up having to assess everybody and how they're contributing to what goes on in the creation of a project. Do you have a question?
I do, Terry, because of what you said about the always having a successful outcome. So what is it in? So you don't have a set program that you actually do. Is it an intuitive thing with you that you actually find something that works? Is it something different with every school? I guess I'm trying to find out what it is. Why is it that you can say you have a successful outcome every time? What is it about those programs, do you think? Okay.
Well, I think what I've got is, look at you. Shall I look at you? I'll look at the camera. Yeah. What I do is, and that happens in the outset. Look, if I've got a 7th grade school, then I've got time in a week, and just say I've got 5 days to work with them, then I've got time to bring in a whole lot of elements. There's enough time in my day to be able to bring in extra elements for those kids to make it a richer program. If I've got a week in a school and I've got 12 grades to do, which has happened to me at Colac just recently, St Mary's, please give me an extra couple of days next time. Then I have to pare down what I do with each grade to be able to make it happen. It's still going to be a successful program.
I think too.
What's your question? I'm not answering your question.
No.
I've got to go back.
What I'm trying to get at is how much input is there from the children into what the actual outcome is. So, so do you write the script as such, or is it all generated from them, and so it's your intuition in working with and understanding and bringing their stuff together? Do you understand?
And the answer is both.
Yeah.
The answer is both. I provide a lot of the structure. I provide the structure. Yeah. And then within that, I just say, I'll give you an example with my little preps. Not only do I provide the structure, I have to really provide the act. But within that act, I've got my puppy dogs, one of which pees on my leg at the end of the act and drives, just the place erupts when a little dog finally, naughty dog, pees on my leg, and that's the end of the act. Then, but during that, all of the kids are doing what they're told. It's a structured act. But then for the dogs to leave, I work with them and the teacher in saying, I want each of these dogs, as we thank them by name, to do a special trick before they leave and go back to their kennels. And that's a structure. So that's something that's within the structure the child can do. So if a child can do the worm or do a cartwheel or do forward rolls or dance and do ballet, whatever they want to do. Now, many of the kids in prep are a little inhibited and they don't quite understand, exactly how much freedom they have to explore that. But many of them do. So you get a whole variety of responses there. Also, they're performing in front of a whole school community, 300 and 400 people who are enjoying what they do. So there are levels, but so within the structure, there's room for the kids to create. It's not something that I devise and say, now I want you to do this or that. Just simply say, there you go. When I get to the bigger grades, I've got, say, a group of grade 5 children and they're doing a plate spinning act. I'm saying, right, I want you to work out now that you can spin a plate and you can put it on your finger and jump it and you can, do all these things with it. You know how to work the plate. I then say, right, now get into groups of 3 or 4 and work on a 20-second routine. And I'll give them ideas, I'll feed thoughts into them. And all I'll do is say, the only structure I want with this is that it has to last for about 20 seconds. It has to involve the skill of spinning the plate. It has to involve an attitude. For instance, if you're a chef, perhaps you're a little arrogant. And the other thing would be, I say, I wanted to finish with a tableau. And so whatever you want to do within that structure, off you go. And then I'll get the kids to do that. This happens about midweek in a week-long process. The first 2 days are just learning the skills. It's only after about the 3rd and 4th day do I start to change from the learning of the skill into learning how to perform the skill so an audience can appreciate it, because that's another ball game altogether. Yeah. It's where and I have to just get the kids to switch over and saying, look, you've got the skill, but it's not going to be entertaining unless we have a structure that allows an audience to see your skill and allows them a moment in which to appreciate it by clapping. So you need to create that within your 20-second routine. Yeah.
And Terry, that sort of leads to the final thing, like, because you just mentioned there about what's entertaining, but again, of course, the whole purpose of this is education, and and I think it's just really interesting for us, like training as teachers, to actually really always recognise where that grey area between sort of education and entertainment, and sort of just what is actually learning and happening in these things. So I don't know if you've got any final comment around sort of entertainment, education, what.
Okay, all right. Having worked with kids for years, I was a teacher once, and a general classroom teacher, and also a music teacher. So I've been through those processes with kids, and then eventually, over lifetime, turn into a musician and a circus performer, and then a music teacher and circus teacher as well. So, and the main tool I use is humour, right? Yeah. And with humour is fun, and with that there's lightness of spirit. And with the light spirit, I've just found that when you bring that light spirit into everything that you're doing, then people are willing to learn. They're just willing to give this a go and to try it. And they have fun. We laugh a lot in our sessions. We're just having a ball. Even though sometimes, because I'm an artist in residence, I can be selectively rude to children. I say, the reason you're not getting this is because you're just no good. I think that's probably the reason, And if kids get that humour, and if they're on side with that, it's hilarious, They get that fun. You say, we'll get good,
Yeah.
And you say things to shock children. It just shock, every now and then, a little shock. I shouldn't put that on tape. That was really an awful thing to say to a child, isn't it, really? It's terrible. But it's okay. If you're in the right context, in the right spirit, it's really fun. Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
What else?
I don't know. Have you got a final word?
A final word is, if kids are having fun, they'll learn anything and do anything for you. And
and we've probably never needed to have fun and lightness of spirit more. Like in any time.
At any time now.
Yeah, it's really incredibly important.
Yeah. It is. That's
And, yeah. No, so that could lead into a whole philosophical discussion, couldn't it, on...
It's major.
Yeah.
It's a major field that we haven't explored enough. Kids remember emotionally. They don't necessarily remember intellectually, and they'll remember how they feel.
Yeah.
And that's what they'll remember most.
Yeah. Thanks, Terry.
Pleasure.
Thank you.